The following video contains descriptions of severe child abuse, neglect, and other disturbing events that may be distressing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. This story is being shared for educational and awareness purposes to shed light on systemic failures and the resilience of survivors. Names, events, and legal outcomes have been verified through public court records and credible reporting. If at any point you find this content triggering, please take care of yourself and step away if needed. It's 5 a.m. in Cypress, Texas, a quiet neighborhood still wrapped in darkness. The kind of silence only broken by the sound of insects and the occasional early morning commuter. Two children, barefoot, thin, trembling, are running from door to door, their wrists swollen. Metal bites into their skin where handcuffs once sat. They wear only a pair of shorts, a plastic torn bag as a shirt, and each time they bang on a door, their voices crack from exhaustion. Please help us. We've been locked up. A camera, a neighbor's doorbell cam, captures the moment that their nightmare ends as someone finally opens the door. They had been to at least 3 other homes where they were turned away.
The twins are seen on this ringtone video. The girl is holding a pair of handcuffs. The homeowners are away in Dallas.
You need some help?
Yes. Can you put a lot of sand, please?
What's wrong with you? What? What happened?
Can you please? We just need someone to be right now.
No, we can't do that.
The twins also showed up at this man's door.
And I spoke to them. I didn't open the door. I was like, oh, so what can I do for you? And they were like, please, we need a place to sleep. And I was like, no, I don't know you, so please get off my property. And they left.
The twins are now in CPS custody getting treated at a hospital. They told police they had been handcuffed. What do you think about this?
It's heartbreaking, it's pathetic, and I think it's satanic.
And this last beautiful neighbor, a nurse, decided to go with her gut and open the door.
Thank you.
Can you imagine 5:30 in the morning, someone's banging on your door, you look out and you see these kids, barely dressed, abused, obviously, starving. Look at that kid's wrists. Look at how long cuffs were cutting into that kid's wrists. If not for this good neighbor, and these kids have been knocked on doors. Yes, it was 5 o'clock in the morning. That's very early. But nobody else answered. She did. This good neighbor joins us now. Now, when you see her, she wants to stay kind of blurred because she's afraid of this situation. This is scary. Who knows what happens going forward? And she wants to keep the focus on the kids. I respect it. Thank you very much for talking to us.
No, thank you. Thank you for respecting that.
Now, what did you think when you looked out your door at 5:30 in the morning?
I was honestly terrified because I didn't know what to expect on the other side of the door. But as soon as I heard their little voices, I knew something was going on and it wasn't good.
When you started to look at them and saw, I mean, you're a nurse, you know what injuries look like, you know what pain over time looks like. What did you make of it?
Yeah, there's a lot of shock going on in my mind, and to the whole reaction. So it was just a really hard situation, seeing them.
Oh, the boyfriend, did they give you any description of who was hurting them?
The only person they mentioned hurting them was the mom. And I didn't ask details
Right.
further than that, but they said my mom kept me in handcuffs. We just broke out of them, is the first thing she told me whenever she walked through the door with her brother.
Did they give you any sense of how long this had been going on?
They did not, no, and I didn't ask them. But you could tell by their scars, their bruises, just looking at them, you knew they had been going through this for a long time. I mean, there was no way that just happened overnight. It had happened for a while.
And you were shocked at how hungry they were, right?
I really was. They did say that they hadn't eaten in a week. A week, they said.
And they said that the parent only fed them if they kept absolutely quiet all day or something like that?
Correct. Yes.
Inside that safe home, the smell of bleach clings to their bodies. The marks of restraint are visible, and their story starts to pour out of them. And it chills the officers who arrive minutes later. What these two twins will reveal will uncover one of the most disturbing cases of child abuse in recent memory. The person responsible was not a stranger, not even a kidnapper, but their own mother, Zaikiya Duncan.
Allegations of child abuse involving several children in Cyprus.
Authorities say 16-year-old twins escaped from their home yesterday where they had been handcuffed. When deputies went to the home in Cyprus to investigate, the mother and her boyfriend had fled with 5 of their children.
As of last update, the twins are still in the hospital. Authorities say they're both malnourished and bruised. Their mother and her boyfriend was arrested late this evening in Louisiana. Late this afternoon, Louisiana State Police arrested 40-year-old Zaikiya Duncan and her boyfriend, 27-year-old Jova Terrell. Their capture followed a day-long Amber Alert that started at their home in Cyprus. The Harris County Precinct 5 Constable's office said when investigators showed up at the home, the couple was on the run, along with 5 of their children, all boys ranging in age from 8 to 14.
It's just crazy to see that it's right here in your community. It's definitely devastating.
Neighbors in the family's Cyprus suburb were shocked. When the couple was eventually arrested in Baton Rouge, state police said they only had 1 child with them. It was later determined the others had been dropped off with family members. Duncan and Terrell are now facing first-degree injury to a child charges. This won't be the first time the mother has been arrested for alleged child abuse. Court documents from Louisiana detail a disturbing incident from 10 years ago. A then 5-year-old child of Duncan's was taken from school to a local hospital to be treated for burns to the child's feet, genitals, and other parts of its body. Doctors determined it was likely the result of being burned by hot water. When police say they went to Duncan's home, they found a 20-month-old infant wrapped in clothing with his hands bound. The only other person in the home was the baby's 4-year-old brother. During questioning, police say Duncan admitted she routinely disciplined one child by making the child get into a push-up position for periods of 1 hour, causing the child's hands to swell. The child was often forced to sleep on the floor of a closet. The door of the closet was blocked by boards to keep the child from, quote, escaping and, quote, stealing food from the kitchen. Police reported at the time 2 of Duncan's other children also showed signs of abuse and were removed from the home. It's unclear when Duncan and Terrell will be brought to Texas to face their current charges. It's also not certain what'll happen to the rest of the children this time.
According to court documents, deputies with the Harris County Sheriff's Office responded to a residence in the 2000 block of Great Pines Drive at about 5:30 a.m. on October 18, 2022, regarding a request for a welfare check of a set of twin siblings, both of whom were 16 at the time. The caller told the dispatcher that the children, a boy and a girl, had knocked on their door stating that they had escaped from their mother's house. The twin siblings were covered with bruises. They were barefoot and partially clothed. A probable cause affidavit said the siblings stated that they were starving. The neighbor's doorbell camera showed the siblings asking her, "Can you help us?" as they held up their handcuffs. When they came inside, they were like, "We are not here to hurt you." The neighbor told Amarillo, Texas ABC affiliate. She was shaking with her handcuffs. She was like, "We are just looking for help. We just need help. We just broke out of our handcuffs. Our mom had us handcuffed in the laundry room." Upon arriving at the scene, first responders located the children in a grisly state. Police said both kids' wrists had lacerations that were consistent with being restrained with handcuffs. The brother's wrist had blisters that were bleeding, and both of his hands were swollen. The sister had similar injuries and was wearing a gray plastic grocery bag around her neck that she stated she used as a shirt. As investigators continued speaking with the victims, the hardships that they described only became more harrowing. Both complainants stated that they were handcuffed to the same black dolly located in the laundry room of the residence, the affidavit said. Both complainants informed deputies that their mother, Zaikiya Duncan, made them drink chemicals such as bleach and Lysol and would spray Easy Off oven cleaner in their mouths if they talked too much. The defendant would also pour bleach on the children, causing their skin to burn, including their genital areas. They both stated that they do not remember the last time they had taken a shower or they only have access to a mop bucket containing dirty mop water. And when they needed to use the restroom, they would have to urinate and defecate on themselves. The twin sister also stated that on at least one occasion, her brother defecated, and their mother made them both eat it and drink the other brother's urine. The kids said their mom ordered all of her restraining equipment from Amazon, including the handcuffs that they escaped from. They also claimed that their mother gave them a mustard and relish sandwich 1 to 3 times a week, where they were only able to drink water from the water valve on the washing machine and were regularly made to take Benadryl to make them fall asleep. The kids said they were only able to escape when the brother was able to get the handcuffed key from his mother's purse and hide it in his mouth overnight. Following the kids' escape, Duncan and her new boyfriend, Terrell, fled to Louisiana with her other children, but they were arrested a short time later after an Amber Alert had been issued.
First time, ABC 13's Erica Simon joining us live from the Harris County Criminal Courthouse. Erica, you were there as these disturbing details of the case were read.
We've been here in court all day, and disturbing details indeed. There was a lot going on at once. 40-year-old Zaikiya Duncan is accused of heartbreaking crimes, and these are details ABC 13 has been on top of since the very beginning of the story. Of course, there were Duncan's 5 children who police thought were missing at the time, but were later found safe with relatives in Louisiana. Then there were the abuse allegations against her 15-year-old twins who managed to escape. That's what she had to answer in court for today in the 338th District Court. So to recap, she stood silent today as the state read details of her 2 felony assault charges and 2 aggravated assault against a family member charges. That includes allegedly starving her teen twins, making them eat each other's feces and urine, spraying disinfectant in their mouths if they, quote, talk too much, and pouring bleach on the teen boys' genitals. I know that's very hard to hear, but we wanted to share just how severe this case is. The state also said since being taken into custody, Duncan has made jail phone calls to someone in Louisiana saying she had deleted videos and images from her home cameras. Her attorney says Duncan is currently pregnant again, meaning new baby makes 9 kids total for her. We know about the twins, of course, who are now in foster care. We showed you video of them pleading for help from neighbors, naked. Prosecutors say Duncan's other 5 children were taken to Louisiana around the time of the Amber Alert, received care, and have since been brought back to Texas. The other child is over 18. With the severity of the case, Judge Franklin upheld Duncan's 2 assault charges at $1 million bond each and upped the aggravated assault charges against a family member to $1.25 million bond each. Duncan's boyfriend, who allegedly was also involved in all of this, he is waiting to be extradited from Louisiana back here to Texas. We'll keep you posted on that.
And did I also mention that while all of this child abuse was going on in Zaikiya's household, she was portraying herself on social media as this loving, wholesome mother of a loving, wholesome family. Specifically TikTok. She's doing TikTok videos with her children, the ones that she didn't abuse as much, because it appears allegedly that she was abusing all of her children. Some of the abuse was worse with other kids than it was with some. So yeah, she's doing these cooking videos, you know, saying how you have to love your family, families first. All the while she is doing unthinkable things to children that she bore. And I also want to clarify how many children she has. So as of to date, she has 9 children. At the time that the twins ran away, she had 7 children, okay, in the house with her. So she had 2 sets of twins and 3 single children. The 2 sets of twins ran away. And it has been reported that her other set of twins, which were boys, also got abused, but the level of abuse wasn't as much as the twins that ran away. They were in the bathroom, it appears adjacent to the washing room that the twins were in. And so she had those kids, that was 7. She was pregnant with one while she was when she was arrested and gave birth in prison. And she had an older child. That particular child was the subject of a child abuse investigation in Louisiana when he or she was 5 years old, where he or she had submersion burns on their genitals and on their buttocks so bad that they couldn't even sit down. So Child Protective Services was called. She was given a slap on the wrist, and the child was put back in her custody. But it has been alleged that that child eventually did get taken out of her custody, and no one knows too much about it. I haven't been able to find a lot of documents on it, but that particular child was taken out of her custody, allegedly. So she has a total of 9 kids: the one that was taken, the one she was pregnant with, and the 7 that lived in the house in Cyprus, 2 of which ran away.
Guys, we're back again. We're gonna do a little video for y'all on our meal that we're preparing today. So remember, always get your family time in. Family time is always the best time, so get your family time in, you guys, always. Come here, Beck.
Within hours, as I stated, an Amber Alert went out for Duncan and her other children. She had fled the Houston area with her boyfriend, Jova Terrell, heading back toward Louisiana, the same state where her name was already tied to a history of abuse. Police caught up with her in Baton Rouge later that night. She was arrested and also pregnant with her 9th child. Terrell was taken into custody. Alongside her, the other children were placed in state care. When detectives searched the Cypress home, they found restraints, handcuffs, and a dolly with blood traces on it. The house was immaculate, though, cleaned with bleach. But the silence of those walls spoke louder than any evidence bag ever could. Baton Rouge, 2012. A pattern began. 10 years before the escape, in 2012 in Baton Rouge, authorities filed 3 counts of cruelty to juveniles against Duncan. One child, just 5 years old at the time, was treated for severe burns, injuries consistent with being held in scalding bath water, submersion burns. Court documents described another child being locked inside a closet, the door barricaded with boards so they couldn't escape and steal food. Neighbors told investigators they often heard crying but assumed it was normal discipline. When questioned, Duncan said her children were, quote, bad, and that they, quote, needed structure. The case ended with a plea to a lesser child desertion charge, a slap on the wrist that let her keep her children, and allowed her to move on to Houston to continue her reign of abuse. No one could have known that that same cycle would follow her across those state lines. By mid-2022, Duncan had moved her family to Cypress, Texas, a quiet suburb of Houston. To outsiders, she appeared to be a struggling single mother of many children trying to start fresh. Inside her home, though, the nightmare unfolded. Remember, she did TikTok videos, cooking videos, and gave advice on how to have a happy family. All the while, she was abusing her children. The twins say that she isolated them from the other siblings, calling them a, quote, problem. She handcuffed them together, locked them in a laundry room, and fed them mustard and relish sandwiches, sometimes or nothing at all, for days. When they grew too weak to stand, she forced them to drink water from the washing machine hoses. If they cried, she beat them. If they begged for food, she forced them to eat cleaning products. If they soiled themselves, she made them sleep in it. Each scar told a story of survival, but also of systemic dehumanization. When the twins were rescued, their bodies bore years of evidence. Blisters on their wrists from cuffs, deep bruises, malnutrition. Doctors said their injuries couldn't have been recent, that they had sustained these injuries over months and possibly years. Child Protective Services cross-checked old Louisiana records and realized this wasn't the first time Duncan's name had been linked to torture. In the investigation room, Duncan denied most of these claims. She admitted that she, quote, whipped the children with a belt, but insisted that they were, quote, violent and dangerous. She even accused the twins of abusing the other children, a claim prosecutors called a fabrication unsupported by any records. But her own words would come back to haunt her. Phone records, texts, and the twins' vivid, consistent testimony painted a picture of control and cruelty that no jury could ignore. 3 years later, in 2025, the courtroom in Harris County fell silent as the twins, now 18, took the stand. They demonstrated how their mother handcuffed them to the dolly. They described drinking from washer hoses, sleeping on cold floors, and whispering prayers to stay alive. The jury took 1 hour to return with their verdict. Guilty on 2 counts of aggravated assault of a family member causing serious bodily injury. When the judge announced a 45-year sentence, the courtroom exhaled. Duncan, expressionless, looked straight ahead. Her defense pleaded for leniency, citing her, quote, difficult life and the strain of raising 9 children. But the prosecution reminded the court that difficulty is not an excuse for torture. Today, the twins are rebuilding their lives. One has joined the military, hoping to protect others the way no one protected them. The other is finishing high school and receiving therapy for post-traumatic stress disorder. They are survivors. They are not victims. Their courage, their decision to run into the darkness, expose years of systemic failure and save the younger siblings who might have been next. As for Zaikiya Duncan, she will serve most of her 45 years before she is even eligible for parole. In prison, she gave birth to, guess what? Another child. That cycle just continuing. But this time, it's under state supervision. You guys, this story isn't about monsters lurking in alleyways. It's about the monsters that we sometimes call mom. And it's about a system that gave chance after chance until 2 children had to free themselves to survive. The twins escaped at 5 a.m. wasn't just a cry for help. It was a statement that they refused to die in silence. And now their voices will never be quiet again. Behind every closed door is a story. Some survive to tell it, and some don't. Please leave your thoughts, your concern for the twins, uplift the twins in the comment section. The one thing I've realized doing these videos is that the family or the victims, they do look, search their name, and they watch. They watch the news clippings. They watch the YouTube videos on them, the TikTok videos made on them. And I really think that when it comes to the victims and the families in these very excruciatingly hard cases, when they read these uplifting comments, telling them to keep being strong, giving them courage, strength, motivation, I think it does something to them. So, I love to hear your comments, when you have opinions. But I also like to read the uplifting ones because I know that the victims, survivors, and the family members and loved ones, they're reading these comments as well. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see all you guys on the next episode of Behind the Tape.